IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles.
Miss Max.
You got Razor.
Hey, Juan.
Hey, Ron is smooth as shea butter.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, thank y'all for staying tuned to this HOCville tomorrow virtual town hall special. Could be listening to anybody, but you're listening to us, and we appreciate that. So we want to not only give you our humble opinions, but bring in the experts to give you the actual factuals. It never flavor.
Right. And of course, if you guys have any questions for us or any questions you want for the guest or you want us to discuss, feel free to contact us, 434-422-9101.
Lines are open. So
Who we got?
That's right. As promised, we have from your Career and Development Center, Mr. Juan Diego Wade. Mr. Wade, how you feeling today, sir, on this Easter Sunday?
I'm doing great. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter.
Right.
It's a pleasure to be on the phone with you.
That's right. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
That's going to be a perfect way to close the show. Don't think we ain't heathens up in here. We haven't forgotten about that.
We know that. It's a God.
We got 3 hours to cover it. I'll start calling up here. So, Mr. Wade, man, your position is utter so important, man. You have a great distribution list. Like, you stay in touch with folks. You're always willing to help develop careers anytime, and especially a time like this. What is the Career Development Center's initiatives at a time like this?
So, Charles and others, if you can imagine, a month ago, I was looking at helping people with an unemployment rate of about 2.5%. Jobs were readily available. The economy was completely different. And now, over the last month, things have completely changed in what I do and the assistance that I'm provided. And so right now, primarily what I'm doing is I'm advising people on different opportunities that may be available in employment, because there are people still hiring, and also helping people and fielding questions on filing for unemployment. Okay. And so those have been the primarily things that I've been working on. And so the way I've looked at this is that I'm helping people providing resources in 4 areas: those that are available at the federal level, those that are available at the state level, at our local level, and probably the most important level that we can provide is that individual level. What can you do as an individual person in your sphere of influence to kind of ease the pain of what we're going through right now? And it is painful for a lot of people. So I just want to quickly talk about what's available at the federal level, and many of y'all will be seeing that this week, is that most adults, and they're talking about if you can breathe, you're going to be getting about $1,200.
Won't he do it?
That varies based on some things, but you're going to be getting $1,200. Like, for example, I live with my mother-in-law lives with us. She's nearly 94. She hasn't worked in years. It's likely she will be getting a check. If you have a household, if you're under 16, you're going to be getting about $500 per child.
I knew all those kids I had was going to come through one day. I knew it.
Max,
I see that.
Max,
praise God.
Go get him, Max.
And of course, all these and here in a college town, it's going to vary. If you're in a college, if you're a college student, if you claim as an independent and things like that. But basically, that is going to be some income that's going to be coming in just to kind of help stabilize you until we can get out of that. And to get this, they're going to try to take it right into your banking account. If not, they're going to be sending it to you. And if you're one of those that maybe forgot to file taxes over the last few years, there's a simple tax return that you can do to get this. They want to get this money too. They want the economy to get back up and running. This is one of the advantages that we have of having a federal government. And sometimes they get a bad play and things, but this is the power. This is when we need the federal government to step in to say, this is what we can do. In my opinion, this is the difference in the Depression. We didn't have these measures and things that we could do. The federal government, I think, wants us to move out of this. And then On top of that, you're going to be getting another $600 a week if you have filed for unemployment in addition to your unemployment check. And so these measures that the federal government is doing to really help you with this, get through this.
So let me ask you let me ask you on that point real quick before you move on. Yes. Is it harder or more lenient now to file for unemployment?
That's a good question. They are making it really easy. Before, you had a lot of information and things that you want to provide. It's still some information required, but not nearly as much. Again, they understand what's going on, that a lot of people have been laid off. It will not be as stringent, but you do have to apply for unemployment. And it'd be ideal that if it will come, but I think the checks will be separate from the federal government that you would get a week on that. Also want to have those in gig employment. So if you did Uber, if you did other type of things, you still can file for this unemployment as well. You'll be asked to provide some information for that. Nice. So those are the efforts that the federal government will be providing. The state government is providing. We talked a little bit about that you file for unemployment, and it's taking a while because a lot of people are filing for unemployment, but people are receiving it. They are getting it. I've talked to them. They are getting it if you can get through. So there are people out there to assist you in doing that. So as you can do it by phone or you can do it online. They're trying to make it as easy as possible.
Hey Juan,
nice.
Yes,
I got a question for you. Now, what do you say to the person who is fearful of giving the government all the information? Because let's not act like some people are like, okay, they're gonna give us all this so that they have contact to us. They don't fill out census reports. They don't do all these type things.
Yes.
So, in my belief, you have to look at the overall good. Yes, they're gonna have all your information at the end of this when we come out of it. But are you so tied to the way that you live or your secrecy that you're willing to let yourself and your family fall by the wayside?
Yeah. So Troy, that's an excellent question because we do have some people in our economy that are not documented, that may be an integral part of our economy, but may not be able to get that traditional check and deposit in a banking account.
Like you're talking about immigrants, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And so the some local funds that I'm going to get to in a few minutes, that there are opportunities there. With the federal money and the state money, you got to be part of the you got to have the Social Security number. You have to be able to be a little bit more official, if you will, in to receive those funds. But with the local funds, you're not required to provide all of that type of information.
Nice.
I appreciate the way you describe people who may have forgotten to file their taxes in the past few years.
Right.
Oh, mine was dry snitching, but his was fine. Okay, gotcha.
I forgot.
No, but I'm thinking about the people, and I remember being younger, and one of my family members doing this. They worked under the table for many, many years, right? Their bosses. It was easy for their bosses. It was easy for them. They got paid cash daily or at the end of the week. So
why is mine snitching? But everybody else can tell everything. I don't understand that.
But I'm just saying, people in that situation need real help now and have nothing to base the request for help on.
Yeah. So hey Juan, I'm sorry. Can we hold that thought?
Yeah.
Because we got to take a break. We're up against the hour. As soon as we come back, next hour, y'all, whole lot of show left. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Career Center's Juan Diego Wade.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show, the special virtual town hall. And you got yours truly, Sir Charles.
Max, you here? You got Raisin. See, I like going third. I like going second.
He on a tape, race on a tape delay?
Yeah. I live with that woman. You know what I'm saying? I go taking her shine. I got to deal with that.
So for those that don't know, we are abiding by government rules, taking safety precautions. Razor and I are 6 feet away for the most part.
6 foot 1 inch.
and everybody else is virtually connected in because we got to be here for you, the people, right? So like I said, IMHO Seville tomorrow, virtual town hall special on our COVID-19 response. So at the end of last hour, if you were listening or if you just tuned in, tell a friend, 434-422-9101. You can reach us here live at the station. Or hit us up online, IMHO Talk Show. So we are here with Juan Diego Wade right now. Stay tuned, y'all. We got Fire Chief, Police Chief, Clinician from Counseling Alliance of Virginia coming up for the show. But Juan, I want to kick it back to you, man, because of course, it raised some eyebrows for our listeners and us when we're talking about the federal and state and local and all the support for businesses and individuals. But when you're talking about those who may have some tax issues, whether it's not filing or may not be documented citizens, how are you approaching those questions?
So I just want to follow up on Ms. Maxine's questions on if you didn't file taxes. And so the way the guidelines are written, and I'm not an expert on them, they say if you did not file tax returns recently, you will have to file a simple tax return to receive payment. And so again, whether you file taxes or not, you're still part of the economy, and the government wants that economy to be up and running again. So they want you to be part of that. So you will have to file a tax return. Of course, if you don't want to get that payment, then don't continue not to file that. I'm tax advisor. I'm not going to get into that with you. And
Careful.
If you're not registered, if you're undocumented, there are some local funds, and I'm going to jump right into what we're offering here because we talked about the federal level. Okay, we talked about the money and opportunities available at the federal level, and it's also available for small business as well. If you're a small business, 500 or smaller, you're eligible to get some forgivable funds as well as for nonprofits. And I'm sure all of the executive directors of nonprofits, they're aware of that. If not, please look it up. You're able to keep your staff on the payroll with these non-forgivable loans. There's various formulas for this. I don't want to get into all that technical things on the radio, but there's opportunities out there for you to get the money and you not to pay it back if you keep your staff and your pay your bills over a certain period of time. You're able to not pay that loan back. Locally, what we're doing locally is that there's some generous people in this community that have put up money. Recently, University of Virginia put up $3 million. $2 million of that is going for their contract workers, but $1 million of that is going towards a community fund, which already had $2 or $3 million in it. And what this fund is, my dear friends, is that you can ask for the average payment is between $250 and $750. The intake process is 10 to 15 minutes. They're going to ask you some questions. It's all done by volunteers. There's no personal documentation required. It'd be helpful if you had some bill numbers and addresses and things like that, etc. But it's not required. And so there's a lot of people calling this number, and usually you'll be able to get back if you leave a message within 3 days. Some of the basic information that you're going to need is your name, number, email address, and your mailing address, and what's your hardship? Why do you need this money? And for a lot of people, they need to pay their bills. They need groceries. They need medication, and then they're going to ask you how do you prefer to get your payment, whether it's a check or what have you. And the eligibility that they said is for this is that you need to be a resident of the local area, and you're able to get this. Once you're approved for it, you're usually able to get that money in 24 hours. And these are local funds. Okay, we're talking about the federal level. the state level, and these are some local funds. And so these are funds that you can get even if you get the federal level, and if you get unemployment. These are some local funds that's not tied to anything else. These are the generosity of local residents that are putting money into this fund for residents of the basically Region 10.
Yeah, that's been a really important effort. I mean, kind of led by Charlottesville Area Community Foundation and Brennan Gould and the United Way, dealing with UVA, and all the people who work together in the UVA Community Working Group, trying to get their heads around how to build a relief fund locally that could have immediate impact for people who are in immediate hardship. And it was a pretty difficult thing to get up and down as quickly as they did, and fund to the tune of, like you said, $3 or $4 million, depending on how you count UVA's portion to the local portion. It's still, that money goes away awful fast, as we know.
Exactly.
So but it is for emergency hardship, and it is available. And they stood up the fund, without even knowing how they were going to administer it, and figured it out on the fly. I mean, it was really, really cool to watch the leaders of that try to put that together in real time. Juan, I don't know if you were involved or had, a privileged seat just to understand what was happening, but I think it deserves, some mention.
Well, yes, I appreciate that. And I have to say, coming in as chair of the United Way board, we played a big role in organizing this, the Community Foundation, and played a tremendous role. Because you need this kind of overall big vision leadership to do this, and organizations that have the pulse of the community, they're able to do this. And then you have players like some wealthy individuals in the community and UVA. They have tremendous wealth that's able to bring that to the table. And I think that as a community, we can do this as we have along. And that's kind of the final kind of resource that we have in this community that's immeasurable, and that's individual. I have 4 or 5 elderly people that I call on probably every 2 or 3 days to say, "Hey, are you doing okay?
Yeah.
Do you need anything?" I've been to the post office for them, been to the grocery store just to check up on them. Each of us can take someone that we know.
That's right.
They have to be elderly. They can be someone that's just in need or lonely. Just give them a call. Shoot them a text, something. That's something that everyone can do, even if you're receiving funding or assistance from these other resources. This is a way that you can pay it forward.
Yeah, I know one of the things that people are asking for some relief or forgiveness on across the board really is rent. Yeah. Whether you're talking about where you live, whether you're talking about being a business, no matter. The people that are renting homes are asking the landlords to forgive the rent. And then the people that own the homes are saying, okay, if we forgive that, then who else is going to help us with, our loss of income for those months? Yeah. That's another big one. And so we can't really look at $250, $700 or so, it doesn't really do anything in the grand scheme of things. It's just a drop in the bucket. But relief is relief, help is help. So if you qualify for it, you should certainly take advantage of it.
Hey, Maxie, one thing that I have heard about that is a lot of real estate entities or, landlords, but it's been more of the businesses. I don't know about people who may just have a landlord where they rent a room or something like that, but like apartment complexes and whatnot. A lot of them have been, I'm trying to think of the right word, not forgiving the rent, but like putting a hold on the rent. On the rent. Deferment. Yeah, deferred. But let's be clear about that. Some people are like, I don't have to pay my rent. They're just waiting on the back end. So after we get through this, you're still going to owe some money. But so in one vein, that's good because it kind of gets it off of you right now. But don't spend recklessly. When you get those returns, you got to pay it.
Can I go ahead and bring in the ratchet part of the show here real quick for Juan? Hey Juan, I need you to back me up on this one here.
Yes, sir.
I know from a personal family member that scams are starting to hit off now. So people that's listening, yes, there's this relief out here, but if somebody calls you asking for your information, be wary. Take the time to look up where these numbers are and who these organizations are before you go giving your personal information. Like we said, they are lax on them, but it doesn't take a scammer much to work off of. So if they ask you for your bank account, they call you and ask you for your bank account and ask you for your social security number or last 4 digits and things of these natures, just check on it. If you call, that's a different thing. But if they call you asking for it, telling you you've been qualified and you can obtain $100,000 worth of help, just be wary. Don't put yourself in a worse situation because you're panicking and you're looking for some help, or you want to feel like you got to get to the front of the line, or there's not going to be no money left, and you do something that I don't want to say stupid, but you do something that you know you shouldn't have.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, you're right. If they call you, then that's usually the telltale sign to disregard it. I think my mom used to say, just like, if you're in doubt, like 4-day-old cabbage, throw it out. Throw it out.
Yeah, and you know why that's even more poignant right now is because the elderly always get marketed.
Oh yeah, they get targeted.
They get targeted all the time. So now that this is affecting them, the most, and they're scared, because they hear about being older, compromised immune systems and all that kind of thing. So I could just imagine some of the calls that people are getting. So we still have to be smart. And when we talk about essential employees, real quick. Like, that's essential. The thing I heard Juan and Razor just allude to, or y'all were talking about it, as far as helping where you can, because that's essential. If we're going to say that people got to go to these service industry jobs so that these corporations can still make money, then we should also, taking precaution, being safe as possible, still be looking out for each other.
Absolutely.
Because there used to be a time, to where it wasn't about just the money. It was about, if you needed something and I needed something, we could trade, whatever the case is. But but that human element is needed now more than ever.
What's essential is to check on the people that you love. If you know, you might can't go visit your grandmom and mom at the nursing home, but the ones that's not inside there, that you can actually go to the door and talk to them. How Nakai said she talked to her daughter through the door. You know what I'm saying? The ones that you can talk on, are you okay? Do you need something? Stand at the bottom of the steps. If somebody's going to make a call, be there. Check on them. Tell them to ask certain questions. There's a lot of stuff that you can still stay within CDC guidelines to keep them healthy, as well as help them in the long run.
Yeah. So let's take a quick break, y'all. So we will come right back with Juan Wade and any further questions or comments anyone has. But we also want to make sure, while we got him, he is the chair of our city school board. So, we're going to pick his brain a little bit to hear about the state of our schools right now. So, hey, 434-422-9101. You got Charles, Max, Razor, Aaron. We here. We in the building. Y'all stay tuned to this special virtual town hall.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
I don't know if you know, but on our first virtual special, we were joined by PB&J Fund, Miss Alexander. From there, talking about the kids, still feeding them. A lot of the kids that come to school, and for some of them, that is the most nutrition that they are getting, unfortunately. So you, as the chair of our school board, just wanted to make sure that you at least let the people know who may have missed it, what some of the top agenda items during this time for the school board.
Thank you, Charles, and I also appreciate the promotion. I'm not chair right now. I have served it in the past. That's okay. Jennifer McKeith is the current chair.
Thank you.
And she's had her hands full dealing with this. And so at the schools, and I think that we're probably similar to many school districts in the state and the country, is that no school really was prepared to go completely online overnight, essentially. And so we took this and really, I'm going to say, this is kind of me, of the processes that we've done in 4 steps. First is that when this happened, we said we need to make sure our kids are fed. And so that was the first focus before academics or anything else. And so we think we have a good game plan to deal with that now. The second was, we need to make sure all of our kids have computers to take home. And pretty much from middle school on, we had that. And so we had to make arrangements for the 5th, 6th, and elementary students to get computers. And we've gotten that taken care of, I think, starting tomorrow. Our first or second grader will be able to make arrangements to get computers. Then our third phase was work. Schoolwork. And so we were really not, at the beginning, not sure how long this was going to last, what our guidelines would be to as far as introducing new materials and things. And so we wanted to keep our students engaged. And so the third phase was this: how can we get them working, communicating things with them? And now, probably with most districts starting tomorrow, now that we know that this is the way it's going to be for the rest of the school year, is that we need to start getting them new material, new work. And most districts are not necessarily going to be grading them, or that's still in debate.
Yeah.
But we know for our, particularly for our seniors and that's going to be going to college next year, we need to start getting them materials that's going to prepare them for their either freshman year of college or what they're going to do after high school, whether it's going to college or work. And so that's what we're going to be doing, probably doing in earnest, starting from this point to the end of the year, is to start introducing new material, working with the students and things like that. And so, and I have to tell you that I've mentored many students and worked with many youth in our church. And I've talked with them, and I can tell you that they're scared, they're mad, but also they're very hopeful. They're very hopeful. I have to do a little bit of bragging. One of the youth that I have had since the 5th grade, and he's graduating this year. He informed me we've been working. I've been telling him you're going to college regardless. He was able to get a really nice financial package from several schools, and he's made his choice. He will be attending Radford University. He wants to study nursing. And so in all of this is going around, you still can make engagement and be able to reach out, and there's good news out there. But it's not going to necessarily come knocking on your door. You still can stay engaged with the youth and things that's in your life. And it's critical because a lot of them are at home, and they're not able to get out and do some of the things that they used to do before. If you know a youth in your life, please reach out to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is crucial. But thank you for that. Everything that's going on. So, and to be clear too, I think most of the school systems, and tell me if it's state mandated or is it up to the jurisdictions? Because what I'm hearing is that most are going to the 6 weeks like worth of classes, that they can do from home, and as long as you show the involvement, then you're good. Is that something that's determined by the districts, or is that more of like a state board of education, or?
Yeah, I think that in light of what's going on, a lot of districts, the states give the districts a lot of flexibility in how they address this. We're in Charlottesville. We can do a lot of things with internet and things. Maybe a rural Caroline County or Smith County or whatever, they can't do because they don't have internet. That's right. To every home there. So certain districts maybe can do different things than others. And
we need rural broadband. Get Denver in here.
Let me call them now.
Yeah. And so what we're planning to do, we want to start now introducing some new material. And so we want to feel comfortable, and we believe that all our students now have access to the internet. And if they're not, we want the parents to reach out and let us know so that we can get that access to them. But now every district now is going to their supplier saying, can I get another 500, 600 Chromebooks or computers and things like that. And so,
Juan.
Yes, sir.
Got a question for you.
Yes,
I'm hearing all the great things that we're trying to do, but my mind is telling me that these kids will not know how to communicate and have human interaction the way that we're going. How would you recommend on an educational level of them being able to, yes, they'll have straight A's and do everything on the internet, but won't be able to do a job interview? Like, how do we implement that into the education part? Because that's education to me as well. Hello?
Oh, I think that's what happens. That's what happens when you're virtual. I think Juan froze on us.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But Aaron, did you have something for the group or for Juan?
I had something for Juan.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he can hear me, though. And I think, well, I'm not even sure if he can answer Liz's question. or if he's even answering you now.
Well, I tell you what, like we are up against the break. We have our next guest coming in. But Aaron, go ahead and put it out there, though, so the group can maybe discuss it, or Juan may get reconnected.
Actually, my question was really, it was, for Juan was, this is an opportunity for, a lot of us are taking advantage of it. Some are having success, some are having trials and tribulations, but the homeschooling. And when things get back to, I don't even want to say normal, but when they are starting to say kids can come back to school, I'm not one of those people that is going to say this is something that I want to immediately do. Have there been talks in the education system among educators about saying, I'm going to opt out, I'm going to keep my child home, but however, I'd like to do distance learning, and are the school systems equipped for that? Right. Because a lot of parents I've talked to are not necessarily on board, not just because of the COVID, but also some people are having success with having children home, but still want to maybe keep the same curriculum. So I know that schools across the country have kind of been talking about this, but is there going to be a possible opt-in or opt-out if schools are saying, hey, we're going to go back to capacity, and, like Max or myself or somebody say, nah, I'm good. Just send it over the internet, and we'll try this at home.
This is online training. That's online. Yeah, so if we act like it's harder than what the grown-ups do already that can't go to a 4-year institution, then we're just creating more boundaries for no reason at all.
But it's kind of like what you said a few minutes ago. There's still that human interaction. That
I'm just talking about for the school part. Like, I got you. Okay. Yeah, now as becoming a benefit to society, I think it's going to hurt them. I know people that homeschool their kids. I see the kid, and a lot of times the children that you think you have are not. They're what you see, and that's it. Yeah, because that's social interaction. You know what I'm saying? That's social interaction. They don't have it. And that's not to offend anybody that I'm close to. I'm just telling you. Like, you can see how your kids, when they move, they're so close to each other, and only them, they have no ability to do social interaction. So I mean, and that's the honest God truth with it.
I can definitely say that from what I know, the conversations I had about how it's going to be in the future after we get through this. But it's really just like the businesses, and as far as like seeing where we are to see how soon you can open those doors. But I do know that if at all possible, the educators and their administrators want to get back to school as soon as safe, as soon as it's safe. They want to get back in. But you're right. But this is opening the door for people to see, wow, technology, like we can do more than what we thought. This kind of functions that way.
And then I was hoping to talk to Juan a little bit about the financial or the budget aspect of it, because as he said, they had a difficult budget this year, and they're proposing the new budget. They're waiting on the state to finalize, and then they're relying on the city for X amount of dollars, and then boom, we get hit with something like this. And the city is already pinching pennies, so to speak, because they got their own bills that they have to take care of. So I just wondered what was the brainstorming that was going on to how to, move forward in that. So
Right. Well, I'm trying to get them back on if at all possible, but we got to go ahead and take a break. We have our folks that's waiting to get back in.
Hey, Charles.
And maybe I'll get them to dial in by phone.
Hey, Charles. Wow, Aaron and Max got some great questions to hit him with. I'm gonna slide in. Hey, Juan, where my $5 at, man? Like, you talking about all this money, man.
All right, family, it's the IMHO Seville Tomorrow virtual town hall special. We've been talking with Giles Elliott, Juan Diego Wade. We still next up. Stay tuned during the break. Tell a friend and hit us up online. IMHO Talk Show 434-422-9101. Questions, comments, whatever you may have. The Chiefs are next. Police chief, fire chief. Y'all stay tuned. IMHO Talk Show.